We're down to the short rows in finishing the Raider. I have got this bit glued on, and I'll tell you, it was a bit of 3 steps forward, 2 steps back on it, because like I figured, it did not go gently. So putting it in, I had to reattach a few of the louvers. I had to redo all of the fronts of these louvers. That's why you see the putty in there. Of course, there'll be some repainting. I've got a bit of tulip in here to seal that edge to keep light from coming out around it. The wings are just in position. They're not glued, but they're stuck on. The good news is the battery and the switch is in place underneath. Let me again try to do this with one hand. There's the switch, and there's the cockpit all nice and lit up. It took a bit of finagling to get those louvers parallel to each other, at least as parallel as they are. They're still not quite right. And having put that in, I don't know how I would have gotten the glazing in, because it's really, you have to put it in from the back, and putting those louvers in on top of it, I don't know how you would do that. So there's going to be a bit of painting to get the fronts of those, a little bit of sanding and painting to get the fronts of that middle section in. Let's see, here are the lights from the back, nice and bright. And you see the headlights, of course, the warm whites, and then the spotlights on either side. Looking pretty good. I still need to darken down inside here and do some other touch-up painting, but I figured I'd wait till I got these louvers on, because I figured I'd be causing more damage, and best to do all the damage I can while before I do the last-minute touch-up painting. So we'll just turn that off. The base is out drying in the Saturday afternoon sun. Okay, it's Sunday afternoon. We are almost done with this Raider. The wings have been glued on. Hooray, hooray. I am touching up the black on the louvers, and this was needed because I had to kind of tear them apart again to get them back on, or to get them on, and then to get the this parts here I had to replace, or I had to touch up. So, and I also took the opportunity to paint black in there, and I'm going to go in with a dry brush and kind of hit those high spots with a medium gray to bring those back out. And I also repainted, get this out of the way, painted those again, give a fresh black over those. Now, the last bits of construction, other than putting the cannons on, which is what I said I was going to do last. Where are these cannons? They are floating around here some. Oh, here they are. And you can see they need a little bit of work yet. But putting the cannons on there, I need to go in and touch those and put some metallics on the barrels and highlight those. But the next tedious thing to do, or the exacting thing to do, is to put these strips on. And I pulled out the kit part as kind of a guide, for lack of a better term, of what size they need to be and where they need to go and all that kind of good nonsense. So I've got some square stock that's a little bit finer, a little bit smaller than what's here, because I think maybe these details are a little bit chunky. Plus, I think these are more in keeping with the scale of the louvers, as far as the louver detail is a little bit finer than what's on those. So I'm going to glue these down, and that will be the next step. Well, la-ti-da, look at this. We're all done. I have lastly going to put a coat of flat finish on it, but the Cylon Raider is finished. Now what you're seeing here is actually a couple pieces of very thin styrene that I have shoved up under the louvers so that the cockpit is protected from errant oversprays and touching up of the black paints and such. I'll take that out when I have done with this overcoating, but basically all I'm going to do now, and I'm making sure that it is flat, is kind of just giving it a good dosing and trying to get into all the crooks and nannies. And then once this is dry, I will flip it over and seal in the bottom. You can see I've got the guns in place. The only thing I've not glued on yet are these fins that go in the back. I'm going to hang on to those and glue those in last. Like I said, everything was fighting to be the last thing I did. You see I've got the four rod pieces on the louvers. That really dressed up those louvers because they were kind of fighting me the whole way, and just adding those last bits on there really dressed it up nice. And you can see I got a little bit of metallic going on the guns barrels. It's probably the only metallic on the entire kit. Okay, we're going to let that, just trying to make sure everything gets down into all of the, okay, so that is finished. We're on a long Memorial or Labor Day weekend. It's Sunday evening. I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes and then take it inside. Won't get to be spraying the underside until tomorrow, so that's good. It lets it dry in. Good morning. It is Labor Day, Monday morning, and I'm introducing you to a boy, those birds are loud this morning. Introducing you to the finished Cylon Raider. I have sprayed the underside and get you a better view under here. Sprayed the underside with the flat finish and put it on the base. And let me turn on the switch. And outside you're not going to see a lot, but there's the headlights, there is the cockpit, the spotlights, and around the back you can see I've got the louvers in, and you can see the lighting. If I had it all to do again, I probably would change the rear lights to one big bulb with a cone inside rather than using the stock plastic pieces that it came with. But that's about the only thing I would change about it. Now let me take this inside so you can see the lighting in a little bit more dramatic fashion. And here you can see the Raider in its new home. This was one of the kits that I had in mind when I was building these shelves, because I knew I would need lots of space for it. And I think you can agree that it's a better stand than the floppy stand it comes with. Let me give you an aerial view. You can see into the cockpit a bit better. Let me turn off the lights in the room here. Oh yeah. Now you can get up close and really see what's going on in there. It's a simple cockpit, but I think it adds just that little bit of oomph to it. I mean, it's a big, wide expanse of plastic without it, and I think having that little bit of detail just adds that much more interest to it. And you can see the reflection of the lights from the engines on the back. I hate to be one of those guys, but I knew I wasn't going to be displaying it necessarily in the round, so I didn't put as much attention into the engine detailing as I did into the front detailing. If But there you go. Now we turn the room lights back on. And another look at it before it joins the roster of completed ships. I'm going to probably pull out a Viper and sit next to it to make it look more of a piece with some likened ships next to it to display.